Facts Verse presents British workmen unearthed dozens of skeletons that show eerie signs of human sacrifice. When utility workers are given the job to dig up the ground to install something, they never know what they're going to find. Most days it's business as usual, but other days some strange things are discovered. That's what happened to a group of diggers when they uncovered some skeletons recently. As soon as they found the first one, they called in the experts. The call had to be made right away because these British workmen unearthed dozens of skeletons that show eerie signs of human sacrifice. They were supposed to be trying to preserve an essential waterway. They ended up finding something much more morbid. The remains came from an ancient civilization who lived on the British Islands during the Iron Age. Back then, the people worked with metal and they created their own tribes. Each group had their own distinct way of life. They crafted their pottery differently, and they used iron in their own ways as well. There's a lot of history in the English county of Oxfordshire. The areas are close to what we now know as London, and it's also the home of the famous University of Oxford. During the Iron Age, there was plenty of activity in this area. Over the years, there have been over 60 archaeological digs. While many digs took place in the area over the years hoping to find artifacts, the 2019 incident didn't start that way. Thames Water had no intention of uncovering any ancient artifacts during their dig. Instead, the firm was hoping to bring 500 million gallons of fresh water to its customers. In Oxfordshire, there's a source of fresh water that is really rare. It occurs when the rain falls and then the water flows through a porous layer of chalk where it eventually ends up in the springs. The water is crystal clear, full of minerals, and the temperature doesn't go any higher or lower than 50 degrees. As the team of workmen was working on the Thames water job, they found many artifacts. There were pieces of pottery, the remnants of human shelters, tools, and the ancient remains of dead animals. All of those things had been hidden underground for centuries. When they realized they'd stumbled on something unusual, though, they decided to call in the experts. The team that the workmen called in was from Cotswold Archaeology. The company first opened its doors in 1989. In the beginning, the experts struggled to make ends meet. They were so passionate about their jobs that they stayed in business, and over time they did manage to turn the business into a large-scale operation with over 200 employees. The chief executive of the company, Neil Holbrook, says that what kept the company going for so many years was their love of the past. When the company brought in the team from Cotswold, they didn't know what to expect. Paulo Guarino was the person in charge of the dig, and when they got to work they found ancient remains, such as an ornamental comb. The more they dug, the more incredibly amazing things they discovered. During the group's exploration, they found artifacts that were around 3,000 years old, which told them that these things were left behind from the Iron Age. It's pretty amazing because historians have very limited knowledge regarding the Iron Age era. The most morbid finds, however, were the skeletons. The experts believed that they belonged to the Iron Age as well. The team found 26 bodies in all. After inspecting the bodies for only a few moments, the team began to believe the skeletons were the results of human sacrifice. The reason they thought this was that all the people were placed in pits. During the Iron Age, this signifies human sacrifice. Another thing that caught the eyes of the experts was the way that some of the skeletons had been laid to rest. They weren't lied down on their backs with their arms and hands at their sides, which would be the traditional way. They found one female who'd been placed in a pit with her arms draped over her head, her hands together, her legs bent, and her knees wide apart. It also appears that one foot had been detached and placed by the right arm. It's not the way the people from the Iron Age would have laid their fellow men to rest. During the dig, the experts found the remains of a newborn baby close to an adult, and they're going to perform a DNA test to see if the two had been related, but so far there's no word regarding those results. The experts have so much evidence and data to sift through from this area, it's going to be a while before all those questions are answered. Subscribe for more.